This smile belongs to Latoya Lawrence. She was found dead in a car with a gunshot wound in 2021.
The district attorney dropped the charges against the suspects, and now the state is stepping in.
Mother and grandmother Latoya Lawrence was shot to death in 2021 in the tiny North Carolina town of Scotland Neck. Hours later, her married boyfriend and his wife were charged with murdering Latoya, according to court records. Latoya's family say years went by with no word about the court case. Cousin Kim Williams said she began emailing District Attorney Kim Scott, asking what was taking so long.
I started emailing. I went to asking my aunt questions of what was going on, and none of it sounded right. None of it. So I started emailing, and I started emailing in DA Kim Scott, the DA for Halifax County. She responded. At that time, she responded, and I went to telling her that I'm, speaking up on behalf of my family member, Latoya Lawrence, who was murdered. So I got her to meet with my family. I live in Florida. So I got her to meet with my family, and I was on the phone when they met in this meeting. And that's when she went to telling us, that, evidence was misplaced. These people confessed. The confessions were misplaced.
Not only was the alleged video confession missing, so were some body cam videos from investigators, according to one of those officers. In May of this year, the district attorney dropped all charges against the suspects, citing potential evidence that had gone missing.
Latoya Lawrence is my first cousin. We had a bond. We talked, we laughed, we cried together. We were close. Latoya was funny. Latoya would give anyone the shirt off of her back. Very loving. She has 2 children. Before this happened, she had a granddaughter. She now has a grandson as well now, but she was loving. Anybody in the community had nothing bad to say about her because that's the way my auntie raised her. She did anything for anybody, so this is why this hurts so bad.
Prosecutor Scott also cited evidence obtained in violation of a defendant's constitutional rights, according to her dismissal filing. The cases were dropped without leave, meaning the Clarks can never be tried on those charges. She also issued a giglio letter against 2 cops involved in the investigation, meaning they can never again testify in any criminal case in her jurisdiction, according to local reports. Those men, Police Chief Tommy Parker and Captain Marvin Hilliard, resigned that same month, according to the town mayor.
From me emailing, this lady has met with my family 3 times. And every meeting was just the wrong that Scotland Neck, North Carolina police did. And I had a problem with that because we have laws to correct things, and that's the only thing that she ever told us is the wrong that the police did. Nothing else. Nothing of what law she can use to put these people away. My family is not giving up or giving in. We want justice, and wrong was done. And we want people to be held accountable for what they have done.
Latoya Lawrence, 43, was shot in the head inside her car about 3 a.m. on August 7, 2021. Latoya's mother said Scotland Neck police came to her home after identifying her daughter's body. The mother asked Inside Edition Digital not to show her face during the interview.
When they came in, the first thing they said was, do y'all have any idea as to who would do this? We all said Antonio Clark. That was when he said, we are not going to bed tonight until we get him. And I said, okay, you better get him before I get him. And they left.
The cop who made that promise was Marvin Hilliard, then a Scotland Neck police sergeant. He was one of the officers involved in the apprehension of Antonio and Akeisha Clark, according to authorities.
I responded to where EMT was at. They pronounced her deceased. I noticed that she had a gunshot wound on her head. I took photos, and I met with the mother, Joyce Lawrence. When I met with Joyce Lawrence, she was already saying no. That's one of the hardest moments of my career, going to residents and telling anyone about a passing of their loved one, especially during this tragedy. I advised Ms. Lawrence that her daughter has passed away. The home got very emotional. I got emotional with them. I took it personal. Ms. Joyce stated that her daughter was having an affair with a married man. And when the married man was Latoya Clark, she said that they were having some issues lately and that he done it. And I said, how you know that he did it? And she stated that he was threatening her.
Hilliard said surveillance camera video and neighborhood doorbell footage appeared to show Antonio Clark's Cadillac stopped at the crime scene and then driving away. The actual shooting was not captured on those videos, he said. Later that day, Hilliard obtained a search warrant for the Clarks' home in nearby Nash County. While he was getting the warrant signed by a local judge, Hilliard said then Captain Tommy Parker and another officer were speaking to Antonio and Akeisha Clark in a Dollar Tree parking lot, where he said both had agreed to talk to police about Latoya's killing.
Once I got the sign, I responded back to Dollar Tree parking lot. I advised Officer Morris that the search warrant sign, I needed his assistance to search the residence.
Hilliard says he and Officer Marcus Morris searched the Clarks' home, seized the couple's cell phones and other items, including clothing, and went back to the Scotland Neck Police Department. Once there, Hilliard said Captain Parker informed him that Antonio Clark had confessed to shooting Latoya Lawrence, and that the confession had been videotaped in the department's interrogation room. Akeisha Clark told Parker she had been in the car with her husband when he stopped, got out, and shot Latoya, Hilliard said he was told.
Captain Parker explained to me what transpired while we was apart. Captain Parker stated that he read his Miranda rights to Antonio Clark, and Antonio Clark waived his rights and wrote a voluntary statement. And his statement stated that he shot Latoya Lawrence, but he didn't mean to kill her. Also put in a statement that he threw the gun inside a field. And Captain Parker advised that he did take Antonio Clark to that location to try to retrieve the handgun, but was unable to retrieve the handgun. With that much information, I was like, we had enough to go ahead and charge him and his wife with murder. I was so honored and so proud to go and meet the mom again. It was one of my proudest moments speaking with Miss Joyce and the family, and stating that the guy that you initially stated was the guy that actually killed your daughter. I was very confident that the information that we had at the time was enough evidence to put Antonio Clark and his wife in jail.
Antonio and Akeisha Clark were charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy, and discharging a weapon into an occupied car, according to court records. 3 years passed as defense attorneys filed a series of trial continuances for their clients who pleaded not guilty. Eventually, both suspects were released on bond, according to court documents. Latoya's family first met with the prosecutor in 2024 at their insistence, they said. Hilliard says he first heard that same year there were problems with the murder case. By that time, Hilliard had been promoted to captain in the police department, and Parker had been named chief. In January 2024, Hilliard said he was notified that he needed to meet with Superior Court Judge Brenda Branch to discuss the case.
Once I got to the courtroom and approached the bench, she stated that this case has been going on too long and that we need to work with the DA's office to make sure the DA's office have all the evidence. Once I discovered that, I responded back to the police department. I ended up getting the case file out of the courtroom.
That was when he discovered that body cam videos from the investigating officers were missing, he said. So he called GTAC, the company that provides the department's body camera and computer services, he said.
And I advised them that I'm trying to locate body camera videos from each officer that occurred on August the 7th and August the 8th of 2021. The IT tech stated that it stays in the system for only 1 year and it purged after a year. So all the body camera footage was actually gone. It was actually gone.
According to department policy, only the police chief and the captain have authority to download body camera footage, Hilliard said. That's to prevent officers from editing or deleting certain footage, he said. A few weeks later, prosecutor Kim Scott asked for a meeting with him and Chief Tommy Parker, he said.
And she was basically asking about the case, and advised her that the body cameras from each officer we was unable to retrieve, and that after 1 year it purged. Tommy Parker stated that the video from the interrogation of him interviewing Latoya Clark, that we didn't have that video as well because of some server issues. I had no idea that we had any issues with our server.
Then DA Scott ushered Latoya Lawrence's family, including her mother, into the meeting, he said. The prosecutor said without the video of Antonio Clark's alleged confession, despite having his signed statement allegedly admitting guilt, defense attorneys could suppress that evidence.
Once I realized that, my heart shattered. I'm looking at the mom, looking at everybody. At that point, I was devastated. I was very devastated. I was the first one left out of that office. I was very upset about what I just heard from the DA's office in 2024. So I went back to the police department and I ended up doing another search warrant. And this time I did a search warrant on Latoya Clark's cell phone. I did a search warrant based off trying to figure his locations, where he was at on the night of August the 7th, 2021. And I saw that he was riding around town for a period of time. It also shows that he was at Gray Street at the same time that Latoya, and what we saw, two vehicles on Gray Street from the security cameras of the home.
Gray Street in Scotland Neck is where Latoya was shot. A neighbor's security camera captured two vehicles stopped on that road at the time of Latoya's killing, according to court documents. Hilliard says he wrote a report in May 2024 detailing that Clark's cell phone pinged at the crime scene and at other nearby locations at the time Latoya was killed. He said he sent that report to the district attorney's office but received no reply. Fast forward 1 year, in May 2025, Hilliard said he found out all criminal charges had been dropped against the couple by reading social media.
I found out the case was dismissed through Facebook. I ended up looking at the system and I did see that it was dismissed. I was not notified.
Hilliard says he has no regrets about his handling of the investigation.
I done my job, and I would never do anything to hurt a family that lost a loved one.
Then Police Chief Tommy Parker also received a Giglio letter from the DA, according to local reports, and both men resigned from the department in late May, after Scotland Neck town officials asked them to step down. Also in May, the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation announced it was probing the officers' conduct in Nash and Halifax counties. After receiving the Bureau's report, the Nash County DA declined to criminally charge the officers, saying, "The evidence in this case tends to show that, although the officers were possibly mistaken as to their authority to arrest outside of their jurisdiction, they did not intend to commit a crime," the prosecutor said in June. Halifax County DA Scott is still consulting with the Bureau about the officers' conduct, a Bureau spokesman said.
Of the whole time that I've been emailing, we were not treated like I feel a family that lost a loved one should be treated. We were not. We were not told of court dates. I, from Florida, looked them up and, would tell my family when court dates was. I have my life challenges as well, but taking on this case and everything that I have done and everything that I do every day and the research and reading and looking up things, I don't sleep at night. I don't sleep at night. I can't sleep. I find myself sometime talking with my cousin. I know she's not here, but I find myself talking to my cousin sometime, just telling her, "Cuz, I love you so much. I'm just so sorry this happened to you, cuz, but I got you." And we sit and we laugh. I mean, people may think I'm a little crazy, but I don't think so. And she just, it hurts. This hurts. It really does. It hurts so bad because she was not a person to hurt anyone. So how could someone hurt her?
Since this has happened, it's hard for me to sleep at night because all I think about is her. I got her pictures all up everywhere. It has really totally destroyed me. When that lady told me, DA, that this was dismissed, I broke down and I cried. I said, "Lord, I can't Please, this is a very hard pill to swallow. How can they do this?
The Lord, that's how we keep going on. We're a praying family. Some days it's so discouraging when things are not working out, when you know the wrong was done. It's a big slap in the face and a punch in the gut.
This is Inside Edition Digital.